Why I'm finally leaving Goodreads after 10 years. Now, I've used Goodreads for nearly a decade. It's been my go-to place to track what I'm reading, see what others are reading, and post my thoughts after finishing a book. And over the years, I built up a little community on there. I think I'm at around 6,000 followers now, which is wild to think about. But after all this time, I've decided I'm stepping away from that platform. Maybe not entirely, I might still post the occasional review or rating here and there, but I'm no longer investing the same time and energy into Goodreads as I've used to. And honestly, it's been a long time coming. For years, I put up with its flaws. I worked around its broken features, outdated design, and a clunky app, all because there wasn't really a better alternative. But I'm at the point where I'm tired of waiting for Goodreads to fix itself. And spoiler alert, I don't think it will ever fix itself. So today is a bit of a breakup lecture to Goodreads. I want to talk about why Goodreads has failed its users and why, even though it's hard to leave, more and more readers are starting to feel the same way. So here's the thing, even though I made the decision to step away from Goodreads, it's actually really hard to leave. And that's not just because I've used it for years, it's because unfortunately, Goodreads has become the default platform for readers online. Reading is already kind of a niche hobby, and people looking for an online reading community, that's an even smaller group. So when one platform managed to dominate that tiny space, even if it's outdated, even if it's broken, it becomes really difficult for anyone else to compete. There's actually a theory behind this called the network effect. Basically, it says that the value of a platform increases as more people use it. So this is why we all stay on apps like Instagram or WhatsApp, because everyone is on those apps. And then there's also another law called the Metcalfe law, which says that the value of a network is proportional to the square of its users. So that just means that once a platform like Goodreads hits the critical mass, it becomes really hard for smaller or newer platforms to survive, even if they're objectively better. And this is exactly why alternatives like Storygraph or Fable really struggle. Yes, they're cleaner, they're more modern, and way more responsive to feedback, but if none of your friends are using them, it kinda feels like you're just shouting into the void. I can move to Storygraph, but if my friends, my mutuals, and my reading buddies, if they're not there, doesn't really matter. And that is the trap. Goodreads isn't winning because it's the best. It's winning because it is the biggest. And for now, that is still enough to keep people stuck. And yes, I will let you know which platform I will be primarily using going forward at the end of this video. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about why Goodreads actually sucks. And we're not talking about one or two little annoyances here. We're talking about a platform that is fundamentally broken, both in how it looks and how it functions. So let's start with the most obvious problem, the design. Goodreads looks like the website has been frozen in time, like early 2010s internet vibes. If you showed me a screenshot and told me that this website was from 2008, I would have believed you. I don't think it has changed ever. Seriously, I don't have the evidence here, but I think if I looked at what Goodreads looked like a decade ago compared to today, I don't think it would have been a massive change. And in my mind, this isn't retro, this is pure neglect from Amazon. The site is cluttered, hard to navigate, and inconsistent. And that's just the desktop version. If you try to use the app, it's a completely different mess. The navigation doesn't match, the layout is different, some things are only available on the website. For example, if you want to add a book to the website, which also is another problem. But the thing with Goodreads is that it doesn't feel like one cohesive product. It feels like two teams build it in parallel and never talk to each other, and I just hate it. And it's not just that it's an ugly website, it is missing basic features that readers have literally been asking for forever. It's so ridiculously annoying that you cannot mark a book on Goodreads as a DNF or did not finish. You either have to say you read it or pretend you never picked it up, and that is just ridiculous. Also, there's no half-star rating system. You either have to give a book 3 stars or 4 stars. There's literally no nuance, and readers have been asking for half stars for literally decades. And obviously, there's no dark mode. I mean, I don't even know why you bother mentioning this. Obviously, no dark mode, but I feel like every website today has that, and I really wish the Goodreads also had it. Also, there's no useful tagging system for tropes, themes, or moods. And even the reading stats are barely usable, and that's the half of the reason why people use Goodreads in the first place. I can't tell you how often I need to go in and re-add a book I have read to make it actually appear in my reading goal for the year. It is just insane how badly it works to add new books to that reading goal. Now, Goodreads says it wants to help you connect with other readers, but good luck with that. Literally, the community features are borderline useless. Messaging is glitchy. Book clubs are ridiculously hard to find and even harder to manage and nearly impossible to engage with. I remember I was once added to a book club and it was literally one of the worst experiences I've ever had on an online platform. It feels like trying to run a group chat on a platform that literally hasn't been updated in like 2 decades. And while other platforms are using Discord servers or modern forum setups to bring readers together, Goodreads is stuck in this half baked Facebook imitation that no one really uses. I genuinely don't think almost anyone uses Goodreads for what it was created for, to bring readers together and to help people create a community online. Okay, but let's talk about reviewing books. Reviewing books is probably the most functional part of Goodreads, but even here is full of problems. You can only leave a review after you mark a book as read, which again makes it impossible to review books you didn't finish. And also you can't tag the review with genre, format, or reading mood like Fable does, and you can't log whether it has an audiobook or a physical copy as well. And there's no structured way to fill the reviews by themes or tropes. And then also, if you want to write a paragraph in a review in bold or something, then you have to add these symbols before and after a sentence. Yes, the platform owned by the biggest company in the world, Amazon, expects you to do basic coding to write a review with italics or bold or underline. I mean, I don't even know what to say here. And then there are also the countless of complaints authors have had with the platform. One very problematic thing with Goodreads is that anyone, yes, literally anyone, can go and add a book to the platform, and in theory, this is actually a really good thing. For example, I have owned books in the past, like Faroese books, which is my mother tongue, that do not show up on Goodreads because the language is so small, and I have been able to go to the platform and register it so I can mark it as read and so on. However, the problem is that authors will sometimes experience that eager readers or fans will upload a book to the platform that hasn't been released yet and even give that book a title that is all unconfirmed and do this all behind the author's back. And then there are stories where authors had to go to great lengths to get these false listings removed off the site. So at the end of the day, Goodreads sucks because it refuses to evolve. It's not a resource issue. I mean, it's owned by Amazon, but it just feels like they have no incentive to change, no real competition, and no pressure from users because most of us feel stuck. And maybe that's the most frustrating part of it all. Goodreads could be amazing, and I think it should be, but it just isn't. It sucks. So, what's next for me that I'm kind of leaving Goodreads behind? Or at least I won't see it as my primary reading platform anymore. Well, I've decided I'll actually be using Fable going forward. And honestly, it has almost all the features I've wanted from Goodreads for years. It has a clean design, great tracking tools, tagging options, and a huge bonus, you can import all your Goodreads data seamlessly in just a few clicks. Now, just to be clear, this video is not sponsored and I don't work with Fable in any capacity. I'm just genuinely impressed with the app and I'm really excited to use it. That said, Fable, if you do see this video, please, I'm begging you, please make a desktop version. Not all of us want to do our reading management on our phones, okay? And also to make it even more fun, and I know some of you will know this, but I've actually started a book club on Fable. So every month we'll read one book together and it's completely free to join and you can chat with the other users in the app as you go through the book. But if you want to help pick the monthly book and join in a private Zoom discussion each month, then that is available through my Patreon. So yeah, if you just want to connect a bit more deeply with people about the book we've been reading and jump on a Zoom call, then that is an option. So yeah, this month in April, so I'm not really sure when this video is coming out, we're actually reading Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio, and I'm so excited. So whether you're just looking for a Goodreads alternative or you want to be part of a bookish community that is actually functional, come join us on Fable. Links are down below. But yeah, thank you so much for letting me vent about Goodreads. It's been a long time coming. And at the end, thank you so much to my patrons who support my channel. I really appreciate it.